Today we're going to do algebraic equation notes. As you see here at this Venn diagram, we have equations and we have expressions. Below, if you look here, we have 3x plus 2 equals 11 under equations and 2x plus 1 under expressions. Now, as you see here, what they both have is they have a number and a variable, which the number is your coefficient, and the variable, which would be your letter. So they both have a number and a variable, x, but they also have operations. If you look here, we have addition, so addition would work, multiplication would work, subtraction would work, and division would work. They both have. Now, the only thing that equations have that expressions do not have is an equal sign. So the definition of an equation is two expressions that are equal. So if you look and you see this, we have EQUA, an equal sign, and EQUA, an equation. So basically an equation, the root word equa, is the same thing as equal. Now, looking at the next thing, we're going to determine whether the following are expressions or equations. So the first one we have is 5 times x minus 7. There's no equal sign, so this is an expression. On B, we have 3/10 times c plus 9 equals 12. We have an equal sign, so that is an equation. On C, we have 7 times y equals 21. And we have an equal sign, so that too is an equation. Now, on the last part, it's going to ask us which of the following numbers make these statements true when substituting. So what you're going to do, we're first going to substitute each of the variables with the letter 0 or the number 0. Then we're going to substitute with 2, and then we're going to substitute with 3. So the first one we have is 10 minus 0. And of course, we're going to replace y with 0 equals 8. Now, 10 minus 0 is 10. And does 10 equal 8? No, it does not. So 0 would not work here. The next number we're going to use, we're going to substitute with y is 2. So we're going to write 10 minus 2 equals 8. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 8 equals 8. So it works. Then, of course, the next one we're going to do is 10 minus 3. We're going to replace y with 3 equals 8. 10 minus 3 is 7, and 7 does not equal 8. So the number that we substitute for y that does make this true is the number 2. Okay? So, on number 2, we're going to substitute, once again, 0, 2, and 3 into this equation, which was 7 times n equals 21. So, of course, since we're multiplying, we have a coefficient. We're going to use parentheses to represent our multiplication. So we're going to take 7 times 0, which, of course, 7 times 0 is 0, and 0 does not equal 21. Then I'm going to substitute 2 in for my variable. So it's going to look 7 times 2. And of course, 7 times 2 is 14. And 14 does not equal 21. So we're going to do the last one. So I'm going to substitute 3 in for y. So once again, I'm going to take 7 times 3, and it has to equal 21. 7 times 3 is 21, and 21 does equal 21, so it does work. So your answer here would be 3. Okay, so the last one we have is 3 times x plus 6, and it has to equal 6. So once again, I'm going to substitute 0 in for x. So since once again we have a coefficient of 3, we're going to use parentheses. So it's going to look like 3 times 0 plus 6. And of course, 3 times 0 is 0. And 0 plus 6 is 6. And 6 equals 6. So that works. And of course, we're going to try the other ones. So of course, the first one, we're going to use. Next one's going to be 2. So once again, it's coefficient. So we're going to say 3. We're going to use parentheses for multiplication. 2 plus 6 equals 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 6 equals 12, and 12 does not equal 6. So the last one, we're going to substitute 3 in. 3 times 3 plus 6 has to equal 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15, and 15 does not equal 6. So if you look here, your answers, when we plugged in 0, 2, and 3, number 1 was 2, number 2 was 3, and number 3 came out to be 0. And that's how we use algebraic equations.